Before we begin, I need to tell you something. If you're listening to this right now, chances are your soul is asking you to stop. Not that laziness they taught you to feel ashamed of, not that weakness you hide from others, but something far older and more sacred than that. If you woke up today thinking, I don't want to get up, if there's a weight on your chest that has no name, if you feel like you're swimming against an invisible current, this episode didn't reach you by accident. In the next few minutes, I'm going to tell you something that completely changed my relationship with exhaustion. I'll show you why life's biggest changes don't start with action, but with something that seems like the complete opposite. And most importantly, I'm going to give you practical tools to navigate this period without guilt, without rushing, without feeling broken. But first, answer me something. When was the last time you gave yourself total permission to stop? Not to sleep while escaping the day, not to procrastinate, but to really listen to what's trying to emerge from within. That's exactly what we're going to talk about today. Part 1, the great lie of productivity. Think with me for a moment. Since you were little, they taught you that stopping means failing, that constant movement equals success, that if you're not producing, you're wasting time. But what if I told you that this is one of our generation's biggest traps? Carl Jung, one of the fathers of depth psychology, spent an entire year in absolute silence after a nervous breakdown. A whole year. Not because he was depressed, but because his psyche was reorganizing decades of information. And from the middle of that silence came some of the most profound discoveries about human nature. Isaac Newton wasn't running around when he discovered the laws of gravity. He was still watching an apple fall. Jesus spent 40 days in the desert before beginning to teach. Buddha retreated into contemplation before sharing his wisdom with the world. You know what they all knew? That great transformations aren't born from frantic action. They're born from conscious silence. The problem is, we live in a culture that's in a hurry about everything, except the one thing that really matters, healing. And here's my first confession to you. Personal confession. When I broke. 3 years ago, I was at the peak of my productivity. I woke up at 5 a.m., meditated, exercised, worked 10 hours, still had energy for side projects. People saw me as an example of discipline. But there's something nobody knew. I was dying inside. One day I woke up and simply couldn't get out of bed. It wasn't sleepiness. It was like my body had flipped a switch I didn't even know existed. And the worst part? I hated myself for it. I stayed like that for 3 days. On the 4th day, I remember staring at the ceiling, feeling the weight of the blanket on my chest, hearing the noise of cars outside. And a question came up, what are you trying to prove? Nobody had asked that question. It came from within, and I had no answer. It took me 6 months to understand that those 3 days weren't a breakdown. They were the beginning of my only real transformation. Everything I built afterwards, including being here talking to you right now, and it started in that moment of apparent failure. So when I talk about soul exhaustion, I'm not theorizing. I'm talking about a scar I still feel. Part 2. The 5 signs your soul is speaking. Your body speaks a language older than words. When you feel that unexplained exhaustion, that desire to withdraw, that sensation that something is asking for your attention, like your body isn't against you. It's trying to protect you. I'm going to share 5 specific signs. And I bet at least 2 will make you think, damn, that's exactly it. Sign 1, the invisible misalignment. Recognize this feeling? That job that used to make sense, that activity you loved, suddenly has no color anymore. No energy. It's like someone turned off the lights. This isn't laziness. This is your psyche saying, I'm not spending energy anymore on something that doesn't reflect who you really are. It's a protection mechanism. Your soul is withdrawing energy from everything that's false. I know a woman who at 47 finally said no to her parents for the first time in her life. Narcissistic parents who always controlled every decision. She commented on social media, now I'm on the path to healing. Life is good and getting better. That no was the beginning. Stopping feeding the false was what allowed the true to be born. Sign 2, the grief you swallowed. Have you ever felt that exhaustion that has nothing to do with what happened today or yesterday? That weight that seems to come from much further away? Often this exhaustion is the echo of losses you never fully processed, a death you got over quickly, a relationship you left behind, the dream you abandoned but never properly buried. Unprocessed grief devours your energy like a silent black hole. But when you finally honor those losses, when you allow them to be felt without rushing to get over it, something extraordinary happens. Vitality returns, not because you forgot, but because you finally accepted. Sign 3, the saturated emotional sponge. If you're one of those people who feels too much, who absorbs others' emotions like a sponge, who gets exhausted just entering certain environments, you're not weak. You function differently.
Your nervous system can't simply turn off like other people's. You feel intensely, and when you absorb too much, news, drama, others' chaos, your body literally needs a reset. It's like a soaked sponge. It needs to be wrung out to work again. And this exhaustion isn't a defect. It's the price of feeling the whole world. Sign 4, the incomplete metamorphosis. There are moments in life when your old identity dies, but the new one hasn't been completely born yet. You're in a strange limbo. Think of a caterpillar turning into a butterfly. During the transformation in the cocoon, it's no longer a caterpillar, but not yet a butterfly. It's in a vulnerable state, appears to be still, but inside it's reorganizing itself, cell by cell. Many of us experience this in career transitions, relationships, beliefs, and we feel confused, directionless, exhausted. But it's exactly during this period that your true essence is forming. The problem is, nobody taught you to respect the cocoon. Sign 5, the extinguished creative fire. Do you have that feeling that there's something wanting to come out, but you can't access it? That inner fire that seems to have been blown out by an invisible wind. This happens when your creative force has been suffocated by a life that's too narrow, too controlled, too practical. Your creative energy, with no outlet, turns inward and creates apathy, sometimes even depression. It's like a river that finds a dam. Instead of flowing creating beauty, it accumulates creating pressure. Your soul is saying, stop wasting my fire on things that don't truly matter. Part 3, the science behind silence. Here's something fascinating that neuroscience discovered. When you stop doing things, your brain doesn't stop. Quite the opposite. There's a part of the brain, let's call it active rest mode, that only works when you're not focused on anything specific. You know when a problem solution appears in the shower, or when you're walking aimlessly and suddenly have an insight. That's this mode working. It integrates memories, processes emotions, creates connections that are impossible when you're accelerated. People who meditate regularly have less stress hormone in their body, less activity in the part of the brain that generates fear, and more activity in the part that generates deep reflection. But here's the problem. Our society has demonized this state. We look at someone still, quiet, and think, they're wasting time. And we force ourselves back into action before the internal work is complete. It's like pulling a plant out of the ground to see if the root is growing. The result? Chronically exhausted people, anxious, disconnected from who they really are. Take a deep breath with me now. Let's move to the practical tools. Part 4, tools to talk with your soul. Now that you understand what's happening, I'm going to give you 3 tools you can use today. Tools that saved my sanity. Tool 1, the 3 sacred questions. When that weight comes back, and it will come back, you won't fight it. You'll ask 3 questions. And you don't expect rational answers. You wait for sensations. Question 1, what am I trying to protect myself from? Don't think, just feel. Let the answer appear as image, sensation, loose word. It could be protection against judgment, fear of failing, terror of change. Question 2, what in my life no longer serves my growth? This question is revolutionary. Identify what feeds you but doesn't truly nourish you. Be brutally honest about what's dead. but you still carry. Question 3. Which version of me is asking to be born? The most powerful. Let images, sensations, intuitions appear without judging. Write down keywords, symbols, loose phrases. When I asked these 3 questions for the first time, sitting on my bedroom floor at 3 a.m, the answers came so fast my hand trembled, writing. What was I protecting myself from? Disappointing people? What no longer served? Living the life my parents chose for me 30 years ago? Which version wanted to be born? The one that speaks the truth, even when it hurts. Tool 2, stream of consciousness. Writing. When your mind is too agitated, when the weight comes back strong, don't fight. Grab paper and pen. Yes, actual paper. And write non-stop. Not to publish, not to revise, to give voice to what's trapped. How to do it? Write anything that comes to mind. Uncensored. Don't worry about grammar, logic, sense. Include cut phrases, strange images, curse words if needed. Continue until you feel a natural silence. What you'll discover, your unconscious has its own language. Symbols will appear, impossible connections will form, answers that were waiting for permission will emerge. I have 47 notebooks full of this writing. Never reread most of them. Don't need to, the act of writing already releases. Tool 3, the conscious pause ritual. You're not a robot that needs to be reset. You're human with natural rhythms. And sometimes, simply stopping is the most powerful action you can take. Simple protocol. Step 1, prepare the space. Low light or total darkness. No phone, comfortable temperature, loose clothing. Step 2, position the body. Sit or lie down. Natural breathing. Let your body find its position. Step 3, invite the silence. For 20 minutes, just exist. Thoughts will come. Let them pass like clouds. Pay attention to physical sensations without judging. Step 4, observe the signs.
In the following days, more vivid dreams, spontaneous intuitions, feeling that something is happening, even without doing anything, energy slowly returning. This ritual saved my life, literally. Part V, real stories of those who crossed over. Let me tell you 3 stories of real people who used these tools. Ordinary people who crossed the desert and emerged transformed. Story 1, Sandra, the executive who stopped. Sandra was 52, an executive at a multinational, woke up tired even after sleeping 8 hours. Immense professional success, even bigger internal emptiness. She came to me saying, "I don't know why I wake up anymore." We started with the 3 questions. On the first, what am I protecting myself from? The word that came was uselessness. Sandra grew up in a family where her value was tied to productivity. Stopping meant being useless. On the second, what no longer serves? The revelation, she was living the life her parents imagined 30 years ago. Nothing was truly hers. On the third, which version wants to be born? An image came. She saw herself teaching children in underserved communities, not managing corporate teams. The result? Sandra didn't quit everything overnight. She restructured gradually. Today, she still runs the company, but dedicates 60% of her time to social projects. She told me, my energy came back when I stopped pretending to be someone else. Story 2, John and the grief he carried. John was 58, lost his wife in an accident 3 years before. He kept functioning, work, bills, routine, but felt an exhaustion no doctor could explain. On the first question, I'm afraid that if I stop, I won't be able to start again. On the second, I'm hiding the pain from everyone, even from myself. On the third, a cutting insight, I want to honor Maria by living fully, not just surviving. The process took time, not months, years. John learned to take small daily pauses just to feel the longing. He stopped running from grief and started honoring it. Gardening came back, music came back, Color came back to his life. He told me, when I stopped fighting the exhaustion and started honoring it as a silent teacher, my life found meaning again. Story 3, Mariana and her different brain. Mariana, 34, diagnosed with ADHD at 28. Always felt wrong, always got tired in environments others found normal. When she came to me, she was in complete burnout. Had tried every kind of medication, therapy, productivity technique. Nothing truly worked. First question, I'm trying to protect myself from being wrong all the time. Second, my attempt to be like everyone else is killing me. Third, I want to use my different brain as a strength, not as a defect. Today, Mariana works as a freelancer, creates visual pieces for brands that value creativity, and created rest rituals that work for her nervous system. Not against it. She's not less productive, she's more authentic. And that made all the difference. Part 6, the alchemy of transformation. There's a universal law few know, the law of transformation. And it doesn't follow human calendars. It follows the soul's rhythms. Carl Jung studied ancient alchemical texts and discovered there are defined stages. The first is the hardest. He called it nigredo, the black phase, the phase of symbolic death. This stage is when everything you thought was true about yourself starts crumbling. Projects stop making sense. Relationships seem superficial. Work feels empty. It's desperate because you feel lost. But you're not lost, you're in metamorphosis. The seed buried in darkness is no longer a seed, but not yet a plant. It's dissolving to allow something new to form. People in this phase feel depressed, but it's not common depression. It's the sacred sadness of transformation. And unlike depression, it has purpose. It's preparing the ground for rebirth. How to know it's passing? How do you know the internal work is being completed? Subtle but clear signs. Physical signs. You wake up and the world seems new. More vibrant colors. Dreams return with clarity. Curiosity about life returns naturally. Emotional signs. Gratitude for bad experiences. Peace with not having answers. Trust that you're on the right path. Energy that doesn't need to be forced. Behavioral signs. Simple things become enjoyable again. You naturally avoid what doesn't serve. You naturally seek what nourishes. Movement isn't forced. It's organic. The rebirth. Rebirth isn't dramatic. You don't wake up one day completely transformed. It's like waking up in spring after a long winter. Suddenly you notice the trees are blooming, and you didn't even see when they started. What changes isn't just what you do, it's how you feel doing it. And most importantly, you never go back to who you were before. This is the irreversible part. You've crossed a line that can't be undone, and that's a gift. Part 7, navigating external pressures. Here's the most challenging part: how to maintain your journey when the world won't stop pressuring you to get back to normal. Dealing with family, your parents, partner, boss, friends, they all have expectations about when you should recover. First lesson, you don't owe anyone an explanation about your internal process. Your cycles don't need anyone's approval. But communication helps. Useful phrases. I'm in an important process that requires time. It's not avoiding responsibility. It's honoring my natural rhythms. I need space for this to complete organically. Don't expect them to fully understand, just expect them to respect. At work. Work can be complicated, but there are strategies. Be transparent about your needs without telling the whole story. Use small pauses throughout the day. Look for roles that allow more authenticity. Negotiate deadlines based on quality, not quantity. If the environment is totally toxic and inflexible, it might be a sign that place can no longer hold who you're becoming. Dealing with judgments. Society will always judge what it doesn't understand, but you don't need to internalize collective anxiety about productivity. Perspective shift. Others' judgment reflects their fear, not your reality. Being understood isn't a requirement for being valid. Invisible progress is still progress. Your timeline is sacred, not subject to external approval. Conclusion. The invitation. If you made it this far, you need to know something. You're not listening to this by accident. Your soul brought you here because you're ready for a new way of understanding exhaustion, silence, transformation. I hope this conversation gave you words for what you could only feel before. That now you know you're not broken, you're not lazy, you're not maladjusted. You're in harmony with your own soul's natural rhythms. I encourage you to start today. Start with a pause. Start with an honest conversation with your inner world. Start by trusting that your process is sacred, even if you don't see the purpose yet. Remember, great artists, scientists, spiritual leaders, they all understood that silence is where transformation happens. That stillness is where wisdom emerges. That pauses aren't interruptions in life. They are life in its deepest form. Your soul isn't asking you to give up ambition. It's asking you to align ambition with essence. It's not asking you to avoid challenges. It's asking you to face them from a place of authentic power. So next time you feel that weight, that desire to simply be still, don't resist. Ask, what are you trying to tell me, my soul? I'm listening, because the moment you truly listen, life begins to reveal its next chapter. And remember, you're not alone in this journey. Millions of souls around the world are navigating similar transformations, often in silence, often with confusion, but always with hope for authentic alignment. You can share your journey when you feel ready, but until then, know that your very existence in authentic process is a contribution to collective healing. Until next time, may you have the courage to trust your cycles, the wisdom to listen to your soul, and faith that transformation always leads you to what you most need to become who you truly are. May each pause be an invitation to deeper truth. May each silence be space for wisdom to emerge. May each moment of stillness be preparation for your most authentic expression. The world needs your transformed self. Don't keep it waiting.